Hey there, lovely Aries. It's Tanisha from Tanisha's Tarot. I'm here to do a little mini love reading for September 2019. And I just want to thank you guys for all watching and subscribing and everything. It's really been quite great. And for those of you who've had personal readings from me and really enjoyed them, thank you as well for those donations. Alrighty, let's get started, Aries. I'm going to do 3 cards, and then I'll do, got a few more than 3, hold on, there we go. I'll give you the first 4 that came out. So we're going to have a little look at what these are saying to us, and from there we're going to get a few little clarifiers to go a bit deeper into what this message is. Alrighty, so the first card that's come out here is the Hermit, and it's in reverse. So with the Hermit always talks about looking within and following your own light. It can talk about, reflection and inner guidance. So when it's in reverse, it's sort of suggesting that perhaps you're not you're not following your inner guidance or reflection, or perhaps that you might need some solitude to have a bit of a think about what's going on. So in reference to love, it's sort of saying that you need to step back in some way. So if you're, looking for someone, perhaps by stepping back, it's going to actually attract them. Or if you're with someone, by stepping back, it's going to give you some time to reflect on what you're bringing to the table and perhaps what you would like for them to be bringing to the table. The next card here is the Empress, and she's also in reverse. So upright, in general, she signifies femininity and fertility, graceful power, and nurturing qualities. And she's in the reverse. So again, this sort of suggests that perhaps these are parts of you that are lacking at the moment. You're not feeling nurtured. You're not feeling very graceful or empowered in that front. And it may mean that a more passive approach is required. So with this in combination with the Hermit is sort of saying that, perhaps the way to go forward is to actually sit back for a moment and take that little bit more of a passive approach. And again, this same message is following through into this 4 of Cups, because the 4 of Cups here is all about offers and not actually accepting the offers. So we have here the guy sitting under the tree, and the cup out of the cloud is representing the offer being presented, and he's just focusing on those 3 cups in front of him. So you could be pondering over these feelings, and so it's sort of saying that you will end up in a little bit more of a space of mistrust about things and not accepting any new offers. Now, the next card that comes along is the 6 of Wands, and the 6 of Wands, even though this is in reverse, this is still quite a positive message, because regardless of if it's upright or reversed, it's always triumphant. So the 6 of Rods is it ties into this of if you step back and sort of reflect on yourself, if you take a bit more of a passive approach and perhaps don't accept the first offer that comes along, this is suggesting that you will be victorious and balance will be achieved, and then there will be forward movement. So when we relate this to love, it's almost like it's suggesting for you to kind of play hard to get, for you to step back, for you to not be revealing or giving your whole self to somebody just at this moment. But by doing that, you come out of it triumphant. So it's almost saying, you're going to get them in the end. By stepping back, they step forward. So let's get some clarification there. Clarification for the Six of Wands. Alrighty, so that's those clarifiers. Clarification for the Four of Cups. Yeah, clarification for the Empress, please. Yeah, and clarification for the Hermit. Alrighty, so the clarification we have here for the Hermit is the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess talks about a balance of the inner and outer self, and the power to see things from like almost like a otherworldly, or like a broader perspective. So this Hermit in reverse, suggesting that perhaps you step back and search a little for some reflection and inner guidance. This is reaffirming that you're needing to create a balance of the inner and the outer. So perhaps you've been quite active in pursuing someone, or quite active in seeking a new love interest, and this is just telling you that it's necessary for you to step back to rebalance, because you're always more attractive when and able to offer love when you are like balanced within yourself. So the card that's come out as a clarifier for the Empress is the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is usually about, it can be about travel, it can be about rebalancing your priorities or your words and forward movement. So in the reverse, the Six of Swords, it speaks of not leaving a situation and not moving forward from it. So, even though you may be withdrawing, it's this sort of, and, you're withdrawing and you're not feeling nurtured and you're needing to kind of like nurture yourself, you're not necessarily taking yourself out of the game entirely, or you're not taking yourself away from this person entirely. And it can also suggest that perhaps they're not going anywhere either. So, a possible variation of this spread could be that, you're the Hermit and they're the Empress, and, they're just not in a very nurturing space right now, and you're not in a very outer space right now. You're having to go in and do some work, or vice versa. They could be in a secluded space within their lives right now, and you could be sort of not in a space where you're able to offer that nurturing extra giving sort of energy. But it's this Six of Swords is telling us that you're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. So this is about realignment. So for whoever you've got your eye on, it's okay. Like this, it's not going away. It's just stepping back for a moment. But I personally am reading this as you stepping back and you needing to reestablish, a nurturing of yourself. But so the next card that comes out to clarify the Four of Cups is the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands talks about fast communication and news that changes your focus. So this is why you may be turning down offers. This is why, the cards may be suggesting that you take a bit of space, because there may be some news coming in that is going to shift your perspective on things and change your focus. This could also be a result of you having stepped back, rebalanced with yourself, not rushed away or into anything, and learnt how to self-nurture. And then that shifts your focus. So as you're better able, this is more about discernment. You're better able to discern what is good for you and what is not, as far as matters of the heart go. So this news can sometimes be, from above. Psychic downloads, if you want to say, like universal wisdom imparted. Alright, so the Six of Wands clarifies. You had two come out here. So one was the Four of Swords and one was the Eight of Swords. So in reverse. So the Four of Swords has come upright, and the Four of Swords is all about having time out and reflection, which that has been a huge theme in your spread today. But as a clarifier, it's sort of saying that, this triumph definitely is coming because of the fact that you've taken that time out and reflected. Now, the Eight of Swords in reverse, upright, it's about self-imposed restrictions and feeling trapped in your thoughts. In reverse, it's saying that you have changed your thinking and you've released yourself from your own self-doubt and your own negative thought patterns. So this is what's making you triumphant, so, and this is what will be able to drive you forward in the relationship that either you're in or you're wanting to be in. So yeah, very positive stuff there. But I've always had a little saying of, like, sometimes you got to go south to go north. And, that's okay. It's like the scenic route, but sometimes it's just a fact of life that you have to actually step back to then be able to have the energy to step forward with something. And then you step forward with greater purpose and greater insight and strength of yourself. So I feel like that's one of the main messages that's come out for you today, Aries. Alrighty, so thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, sharing and liking my videos. And if you'd like to get your own personal reading, please click just use the email address below. And happy September.